When you engage in resistance training or structured physical exercise, the changes that occur are not limited to muscles alone. They extend deeply into the brain and nervous system. Every time you lift a weight, perform a push-up, or execute a complex movement, your brain is actively involved in coordinating and refining thousands of neural signals. These signals travel through motor neurons to activate specific muscle fibers, while simultaneously integrating feedback from sensory systems that track position, tension, and movement. Over time, this continuous interaction between the brain and muscles strengthens neural pathways, making movement more precise, efficient, and coordinated. The brain's motor cortex plays a central role in this process. Each time you attempt a movement, the motor cortex sends signals to recruit specific motor units within the muscle. Early repetitions are often clumsy or inefficient because the neural patterns are not yet fully established. As training continues, the brain refines these patterns, improving synchronization between muscles and optimizing force production. This neural refinement is critical because strength is not just about muscle size. It is largely determined by how effectively the nervous system can activate and coordinate those muscles. Beyond the motor cortex, other areas of the brain are recruited during physical training. The cerebellum, for instance, continually predicts and adjusts movement in real time, correcting errors and refining timing. Proprioceptive input from muscles, tendons, and joints feeds into these circuits, enhancing body awareness and spatial coordination. Over weeks and months of consistent training, these neural circuits adapt to handle higher levels of load, complexity, and intensity. The result is a nervous system that can execute challenging movements with greater precision, speed, and stability. Strength training also engages the brain's reward and motivation systems. When you successfully lift a weight or overcome a physical challenge, the brain interprets this as a meaningful accomplishment. Dopamine is released in response to these achievements, reinforcing the neural circuits associated with effort and mastery. This positive feedback loop not only enhances motivation for future training sessions, but also trains the brain to value persistence, focus, and controlled effort. In other words, the act of building physical strength teaches the nervous system that effort and repetition are intrinsically valuable, which can transfer to cognitive and emotional tasks outside of the gym. Importantly, the improvements in neural coordination and motor control extend beyond the muscles being trained. As the brain becomes more efficient at recruiting motor units and integrating sensory feedback, overall movement patterns improve. Balance, stability, and reaction time are enhanced, which reduces the risk of injury and improves performance in other physical or daily activities. This global improvement in neuromuscular efficiency demonstrates that strength training is not an isolated adaptation. It rewires the brain to manage complexity and coordinate multiple systems simultaneously. The interaction between muscles and the nervous system also affects cognitive function. Studies have shown that regular strength training improves executive functions such as attention, working memory, and decision-making. This occurs because the neural circuits involved in planning, predicting, and executing movements overlap with those that manage higher-order cognitive processes. Every lift, squat, or press is effectively a form of neural training, strengthening pathways that improve focus, problem-solving, and adaptability. Finally, the changes in the nervous system are cumulative and long-lasting. Unlike short-term gains in muscle size, neural adaptations continue to refine coordination, efficiency, and motor control, even after periods of reduced training. This enduring rewiring of the brain ensures that the benefits of strength training extend far beyond the gym, influencing posture, movement quality, mental clarity, and resilience in daily life. The combination of physical and neural adaptation underscores why strength training is one of the most powerful tools, not only for building muscle, but also for optimizing brain function and life performance. When engaging in strength training or resistance-based exercise, one of the most significant and immediate responses in the body is a shift in hormonal activity. Hormones are chemical messengers that regulate nearly every aspect of physiology, including metabolism, growth, energy balance, and even cognitive function. Among these, testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, are particularly important because they not only drive muscle hypertrophy, but also influence motivation, focus, resilience, and overall mental performance. Testosterone, for instance, is commonly associated with male physiology, but it is crucial for both sexes in regulating muscle protein synthesis, strength gains, and recovery. During and after resistance exercise, testosterone levels rise, signaling the body to repair and strengthen muscle fibers that have been stressed during training. Beyond the muscular system, testosterone affects the brain by enhancing motivation, confidence, and assertiveness. It increases activity in neural circuits associated with goal-directed behavior and reduces the perception of fatigue, making challenging tasks feel more achievable. This hormonal surge teaches the brain a fundamental lesson. Effort and persistence produce measurable results, reinforcing a mindset oriented toward growth and achievement. Growth hormone, another critical player, is released in response to the physical stress of lifting weights. Growth hormone stimulates tissue repair, muscle growth, and even neural plasticity. It increases the availability of amino acids for muscle rebuilding and encourages the growth of new cells, not only in muscles, but in other tissues, including neurons. Elevated growth hormone improves cognitive performance indirectly by enhancing sleep quality, energy metabolism, and mood regulation. The brain benefits because recovery is optimized, allowing neural circuits to consolidate motor learning and strengthen pathways that underlie focus and decision-making. IGF-1, which works in close coordination with growth hormone, further amplifies these effects. IGF-1 binds to receptors in muscle and neural tissue, promoting protein synthesis, cell growth, and synaptic plasticity. In the nervous system, IGF-1 facilitates the formation of new neural connections and strengthens existing ones, improving both motor control and cognitive function. This means that the act of lifting weights or challenging your muscles is simultaneously training the body and fine-tuning the brain's ability to execute complex movements and make rapid decisions under pressure. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, also plays a nuanced role. While chronic high cortisol impairs muscle growth and neural plasticity, the controlled stress of exercise actually helps regulate its release. Short-term increases in cortisol during training are balanced by recovery, teaching the nervous system to handle acute stress without overreacting. Over time, this improves resilience, not only physically, but mentally, enabling individuals to face challenges with greater composure and adaptability. The hormonal response to strength training also reinforces behavioral patterns. Each training session that results in growth or improvement produces a feedback loop. Effort triggers hormonal release, hormones facilitate adaptation, and the brain interprets the outcome as rewarding. This reinforces motivation, persistence, and discipline, encouraging consistency over time. In practical terms, the brain learns that deliberate action, followed by rest and recovery, leads to measurable improvement. This principle extends far beyond the gym, shaping approaches to work, learning, and personal development. Consistency and progressive overload amplify these hormonal effects. By gradually increasing weight, reps, or intensity, the body continually adapts, and hormonal responses remain robust. Without consistent challenge, hormonal surges diminish, neural adaptation slows, and both physical and cognitive growth plateau. This highlights why structured, intentional strength training is not just a physical pursuit, but a comprehensive system that aligns the endocrine and nervous systems to optimize performance, motivation, and life resilience. Consistency is one of the most critical factors in building strength and muscle, yet it is often underestimated. The body and brain are highly adaptive systems, and they respond to repeated, predictable stimuli over time. When you engage in regular resistance training, the process is cumulative. Small, consistent efforts compound into significant physical, neural, and psychological changes. Muscles grow because fibers are repeatedly stressed and repaired. Neural circuits improve because motor patterns are practiced and refined. And the mind strengthens because it learns to value effort and persistence. Without regularity, the body cannot fully adapt, and the brain cannot establish reliable pathways for mastery. The principle of progressive overload is central to this concept. Consistency is not just about showing up, it is about consistently challenging the body slightly beyond its current capacity. Adding weight, increasing repetitions, or improving range of motion forces the nervous system to adapt. Early in training, much of the strength gains come from neural adaptation rather than muscle size. The brain becomes more efficient at recruiting motor units, coordinating muscles, and optimizing timing. Over weeks and months, repeated stimulation strengthens these pathways, making movements smoother, more precise, and more powerful. This demonstrates that consistency is as much about neural rewiring as it is about physical change. Consistency also reinforces habit formation. The human brain is designed to conserve energy and favor routines, which makes novel actions feel difficult or uncomfortable at first. By training regularly, these actions become familiar, and the effort required to initiate them decreases. This habituation applies not only to physical activity, but to discipline in general. The brain learns that showing up, even when motivation is low, produces predictable rewards: stronger muscles, improved coordination, and enhanced mental clarity. Over time, the act of consistent effort becomes self-reinforcing, establishing a foundation for long-term growth in multiple areas of life. Psychologically, consistency teaches patience and delayed gratification. Muscle growth and strength gains do not occur overnight. The nervous system must adapt, muscle fibers must rebuild, and hormones must fluctuate in a coordinated manner. Each training session builds incrementally on the previous one, and this cumulative effect becomes visible only after weeks or months. This slow but reliable progression strengthens the brain's ability to tolerate delayed rewards and maintain focus on long-term objectives. In life outside the gym, this translates to improved resilience, planning, and the capacity to pursue complex goals with persistence. Regular training also reduces the mental cost of effort. Early sessions may feel taxing because the nervous system is not yet optimized for the movement patterns and stress levels. As sessions accumulate, the brain becomes more efficient at motor coordination, energy regulation, and emotional control during exertion. This efficiency reduces cognitive fatigue, increases endurance, and improves confidence in one's ability to handle challenges. Essentially, consistency rewires the brain to interpret effort not as punishment or strain, but as a pathway to improvement. Moreover, consistent training strengthens the feedback loop between action and reward. Each successful lift or progression provides a small surge of dopamine, reinforcing the behavior and motivating future sessions. Skipping sessions disrupts this loop, slowing both physical adaptation and behavioral reinforcement. By committing to a consistent schedule, the brain internalizes the connection between effort and positive outcome, which cultivates discipline that extends beyond exercise into work, learning, and personal development. In sum, consistency in strength training is far more than a physical necessity. It is a mechanism for building neural efficiency, habit formation, psychological resilience, and lifelong adaptability. Each session compounds upon the previous one, reinforcing both body and mind. And over time, this deliberate repetition establishes a foundation not just for strength, but for the mindset required to pursue and achieve broader life goals. The mind-muscle connection is a concept that goes far beyond the simple physical act of lifting weights. It refers to the deliberate, conscious engagement of the brain in controlling and feeling each movement, ensuring that the targeted muscles are activated effectively. While it may seem subtle, this connection significantly amplifies both strength and hypertrophy outcomes because the nervous system plays a critical role in coordinating muscle fibers and optimizing force production. Every repetition, when performed with awareness, strengthens neural pathways that control movement and enhances communication between the brain and the body. When you focus on a muscle during a lift, your brain prioritizes motor unit recruitment for that specific muscle. Motor units are combinations of neurons and the muscle fibers they control. Activating more motor units efficiently leads to greater force production and more effective training. Without attention and focus, some muscle fibers may remain under-recruited, limiting both strength gains and muscle growth. The mind-muscle connection ensures that even subtle fibers are engaged, maximizing the stimulus for adaptation and reinforcing the neural patterns necessary for precise movement. This connection also improves coordination. Many exercises, especially compound movements, require multiple muscles to work together. By consciously engaging the targeted muscles and being aware of their tension, the brain fine-tunes the recruitment sequence across the involved muscles. This not only improves performance in the gym, but also enhances movement efficiency in daily life and athletic activities. Over time, the nervous system learns to execute these patterns more smoothly and with less conscious effort, creating a lasting improvement in motor control. The mind-muscle connection also has cognitive benefits. Focusing attention on muscle contraction strengthens neural circuits related to concentration, patience, and self-discipline. The repetitive practice of maintaining awareness during each set teaches the brain to sustain focus over extended periods, even under fatigue. This mental training carries over into other domains, such as work, study, or creative problem solving, where the ability to maintain attention and monitor progress is essential. Intentionality during exercise also affects feedback loops within the nervous system. By paying close attention to movement, tension, and range of motion, the brain can detect subtle inefficiencies or compensations in real time. This immediate feedback allows for micro adjustments that improve form, prevent injury, and ensure that the desired muscles are being challenged adequately. Over weeks and months, this consistent feedback fine-tunes motor patterns, resulting in greater strength and hypertrophy, while reinforcing neural pathways for control and precision. Additionally, the mind-muscle connection enhances the body's sensitivity to load and fatigue. By tuning into the targeted muscles, you can better gauge when to push harder or when to allow recovery. This awareness teaches the brain to interpret physical sensations accurately, improving the capacity to handle progressive overload safely. As the nervous system becomes more adept at reading these cues, training becomes more efficient and gains are accelerated. The benefits of the mind-muscle connection extend beyond strength and muscle size. Engaging in focused, deliberate movement teaches the brain the value of controlled effort and intentional practice. It reinforces the principle that quality of action often matters more than quantity. This lesson translates directly into life skills. Careful, thoughtful effort in any domain, be it learning, work, or creative pursuits, produces better outcomes than rushed or distracted action. Incorporating the mind-muscle connection consistently rewires the brain to integrate physical and cognitive processes. Muscles respond better, movements become more precise, and the brain learns to value focused effort. This integration of body and mind strengthens discipline, attention, and intentionality, creating a foundation not just for physical strength, but for mastery in other areas of life. By practicing awareness and engagement with every lift, the nervous system is trained to perform efficiently, reinforcing habits that extend far beyond the gym environment. Recovery is a critical and often overlooked component of building strength and muscle, yet it is during recovery that much of the real adaptation occurs. When you lift weights or perform resistance exercises, you are intentionally stressing the muscles, nervous system, and hormonal systems. This stress causes micro tears in muscle fibers, depletes energy stores, and temporarily disrupts neural coordination. While these effects may seem detrimental in the moment, they are actually signals for the body to adapt, grow stronger, and become more resilient. Without proper recovery, these systems cannot repair, and gains in strength and performance are limited. Sleep is one of the most powerful recovery tools. During deep sleep, the body releases growth hormone, a key regulator of muscle repair, tissue growth, and neural adaptation. Growth hormone stimulates protein synthesis and promotes the rebuilding of muscle fibers that were stressed during training. In addition to physical repair, sleep allows the nervous system to consolidate motor learning. Neural pathways formed or strengthened during exercise are stabilized, improving coordination, balance, and efficiency in future movements. Consistently getting adequate sleep ensures that the body and brain are ready for the next session and that gains are cumulative rather than stagnant. Nutrition is another essential factor in recovery. Protein provides the building blocks for muscle repair, while carbohydrates replenish depleted glycogen stores, restoring energy for subsequent workouts. Healthy fats support hormonal balance, including testosterone and cortisol regulation. Adequate micronutrients such as magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D play crucial roles in muscle contraction, neural signaling, and cellular repair. Without proper nutrition, the body cannot fully leverage the stress applied during training, and the nervous system may fail to encode optimal movement patterns, slowing progress in both strength and skill acquisition. Active recovery is equally important. Light activity, stretching, mobility work, or even short walks between intense sessions increases blood flow to muscles, enhancing nutrient delivery and waste removal. This accelerates the repair process and reduces soreness, allowing for more consistent training. Active recovery also provides the nervous system with low-stress input, which helps maintain coordination and proprioception without overloading motor circuits. Over time, these practices enhance overall performance and reduce the risk of injury. Recovery is not just physical, it also has profound psychological benefits. Training is stressful by design, and repeated exertion without sufficient rest can lead to mental fatigue, decreased motivation, and even burnout. Incorporating recovery teaches the brain that effort should be balanced with rest, reinforcing patience, discipline, and long-term thinking. The nervous system learns to interpret stress as a signal for adaptation rather than threat, which improves resilience and emotional regulation. This principle extends beyond training. Life challenges require cycles of effort and recovery to sustain growth and performance over time. Strategic recovery also enhances hormonal balance. Resistance training stimulates the production of anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone while temporarily increasing cortisol. Recovery ensures that these hormones return to optimal levels, allowing muscle repair, neural consolidation, and metabolic regulation to proceed efficiently. Without adequate recovery, prolonged elevated cortisol can interfere with protein synthesis, reduce neural plasticity, and increase the risk of overtraining. In this way, recovery is not a passive process. It is an active period of biological and neurological adaptation. Finally, the brain uses recovery to integrate lessons from training. The nervous system consolidates motor learning, refines movement patterns, and reinforces connections that improve coordination and efficiency. Each rest period strengthens the feedback loop between effort, adaptation, and reward, making subsequent training sessions more effective. Recovery ensures that strength gains are not merely temporary, but are built into the structure of the body and the neural networks controlling it, creating lasting improvements in performance, resilience, and overall life capacity. Building strength and muscle is not only about physical adaptation, it also rewires the brain's approach to effort, motivation, and long-term achievement. Each training session provides a repeated lesson to the nervous system. Effort leads to measurable results. This repeated association between consistent work and positive outcomes strengthens motivation circuits in the brain, particularly those involving dopamine, which is critical for reward and reinforcement learning. Every successful lift, completed repetition, or progressive improvement produces a small surge of dopamine, reinforcing the behavior and teaching the brain that disciplined action is inherently rewarding. Over time, this rewiring transforms how effort is perceived, making it easier to engage in challenging tasks both inside and outside the gym. The psychological aspect of regular training is equally important. Many adults experience hesitation or avoidance when facing physically or mentally demanding tasks because the brain has learned to associate effort with discomfort or risk of failure. Strength training, when performed consistently, counteracts this pattern. By repeatedly facing controlled challenges, lifting heavier weights, performing more repetitions, or executing precise movements, the brain learns that discomfort does not equal danger. Neural circuits adapt to tolerate exertion, pushing past perceived limits and increasing resilience. This change in perception carries over into other areas of life, making difficult tasks feel less intimidating and more manageable. This process also enhances self-efficacy. As the body grows stronger and capable, the brain internalizes evidence of personal competence. The neural circuits that govern confidence and action planning are reinforced by repeated proof that goals can be met through persistent effort. This creates a positive feedback loop. Confidence encourages engagement. Engagement produces results, and results further strengthen confidence. The synergy between physical capability and mental resilience forms a foundation for taking on challenges in work, learning, and personal development with greater ease and determination. Consistency in training also teaches delayed gratification, a critical aspect of rewiring motivation and persistence. Muscle growth and strength gains are gradual and cumulative, requiring patience and adherence to a structured plan. The brain learns to value long-term rewards over immediate comfort, strengthening pathways associated with planning, self-control, and sustained effort. This principle is not limited to the gym. The same neural patterns that govern disciplined, consistent training apply to achieving goals in education, career, and personal growth. The mind-body integration achieved through training further strengthens adaptability. Each session challenges coordination, timing, and load management, which requires the nervous system to process feedback, adjust strategies, and predict outcomes. This repeated practice enhances cognitive flexibility, allowing the brain to shift approaches, solve problems creatively, and respond effectively to unforeseen challenges. The ability to tolerate uncertainty and adjust strategies is a fundamental skill for both athletic performance and navigating complex life situations. Moreover, the repeated exposure to effort and challenge during training reduces stress reactivity. Controlled physical exertion teaches the nervous system that acute stress does not signal immediate danger. Over time, cortisol responses become better regulated, and the brain learns to interpret challenges as opportunities for adaptation rather than threats. This improves emotional regulation and resilience, making the individual better equipped to handle pressure, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles in daily life. Finally, the reinforcement of effort, adaptation, and reward creates a lasting habit loop in the brain. Each completed session strengthens neural networks linking action to outcome, discipline to success, and challenge to growth. The brain internalizes that deliberate, consistent effort leads to improvement, not only physically, but cognitively and emotionally. This principle is the foundation for life mastery. By training the brain to value persistent, focused action, strength training shapes more than the body. It shapes the mindset necessary to forge a path toward personal goals, resilience, and long-term achievement. In essence, building strength and muscle is a form of deliberate life training. Each repetition, each session, and each period of consistent effort teaches the brain that persistence leads to growth. Challenges are opportunities, and effort itself is rewarding. The body becomes stronger, the mind becomes more resilient, and motivation becomes self-reinforcing. Through this process, the nervous system, hormones, and neural circuits align to support not just physical power, but a mindset capable of navigating life's challenges with confidence, discipline, and clarity. Strength in this way becomes a blueprint for forging the path you want to follow.